Okay, 5:30, I'd like to call the meeting to order. And I have to read something about our recording and taping notification. And it says, as required by law, the town may audio or video record this meeting. Any person intending to either audio or video record this open session is required to inform the chair. And I have nobody to do that, so we shall move on to number 2, public announcement. Mike, I guess you're on there.
Thank you.
First, welcome aboard.
Yeah. And
You know this gentleman, why don't you, you know anybody around the table here, Mike?
it would be great just to do.
You know,
Hi.
Mike, you know Frank? Frank Farley?
Hi.
Dave Nickerson?
Dave, yes.
And
We don't know each other.
Leah, this is Leah.
Leah.
And we were
Phyllis. Phyllis.
And of course, she's our
Yeah,
director.
and I'm just gonna bring a chair for Norm Clark.
Sure, yeah.
Who is with the Harwich Fire Association.
Thanks for coming, appreciate it.
Of course.
I got something for you later on.
Perfect. Hi, how are you?
Okay,
Thank you.
all yours.
Thank you for the opportunity. So, Michael Locke, Director of the Harwich Conservation Trust. I really appreciate you making time on your agenda and in the midst of the busy summer season. When I met with Eric earlier this season on another project where we were talking about Red River Beach, it was just at the start of his busy season with, I think, 27 staff.
At least, yeah.
At least 27 staff, and it really gave me an impression of the scope of what you all do at a very busy time of the year. So I'm here to ask for your support on a potential CPA funding application for recreation funds for the public access project to benefit folks using the walking trails that will be enhanced as part of the Cold Brook Ecological Restoration Project. So as some background, in the past, I've come before you asking for your support on 2 other CPA recreation funded projects. One being the wheelchair accessible trail for the Cold Brook Eco Restoration Project. We called that phase 1 of the public access enhancement vision there. That was $150,000 through town meeting voters a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. And the most recent one was what we call phase 2, toward a 100-foot boardwalk, also within the Cold Brook Eco Restoration Project. I'm pleased to report that Cold Brook Eco Restoration Project and those 2 public access enhancement aspects have all been approved through the local, state, and federal permitting process. And we have also contracted with Sumco Eco Contracting to actually start construction of the Eco Restoration Project starting the week of September 5th. So that's great news. I'm here before you to ask for support of phase 3, which would be to actually construct the parking area that is part of the property collectively known as 203 Bank Street. So recall that includes the town's original firehouse circa 1927, that our project partners, the nonprofit Harwich Fire Association, has been making tremendous progress through CPA historic preservation funds at reviving the exterior, and they're done with that project now. The exterior.
About a week ago.
About a week ago. Incredible progress. And so Harwich Conservation Trust and Harwich Fire Association combined our resources to buy this roughly 2-acre property when the select board wanted to sell it. So HFA and HCT bought this together December 8th of 2022. And then HFA was able to move forward on the exterior renovation, and HCT, in partnership with HFA, was able to move forward in funding this design of the parking area. It's really the gateway to the larger 66-acre Coldbrook Preserve to the south, on which we'll have that half-mile ADA wheelchair accessible trail loop created, and off to the east, the 100-foot boardwalk. So in order to build this new parking area and the wheelchair accessible overlook, which is shown here, and then the connector trail to the larger half-mile trail, wheelchair loop, and other walking trails, we're looking to raise the construction funds. We've already fully funded this design and the permitting needed, as well as the stormwater management report. We did this through the BSC group, and this was through a $100,000 Mass Trails State Department of Conservation and Recreation grant. So we're working hard to put together a number of funding resources. I always want to come to you when asking about recreation funds because I want to respect whatever you have in your priority list of recreation projects. And I don't want to accidentally interfere with any of those in making an ask of the CPC for consideration of placing a CPA Recreation Fund article on the warrant. So how much to construct this design? The estimated opinion of project costs through BSC is about $500,000. So I'm seeking your support of $250,000. CPA Recreation Fund article. I'd prepare the application in time for CPA, for the CPC deadline, I think is October 2nd. Thank you. And then we'll see what the CPC says through its decision-making process. Harwich Conservation Trust would be responsible for raising the balance to create the total amount needed to create the parking lot. Essentially, it's going to be expanding the number of parking spaces to 28, including 4 wheelchair accessible spaces shown here. This was permitted actually through special permit last night by the planning board.
I watched it.
You watched it, yeah. Attorney Bill Kroll representing Harwich Fire Association in that planning board review and permitting process. So that's where we are to date. I'm glad to answer any questions, and I really appreciate your consideration of a support letter.
Thank you. Quick question. The board, where are we? The boardwalk. Do you have a number for that?
Yes, I'd say it's probably about 150,000, 75,000 have already been approved by a past town meeting for CPA recreation funds. We have additional funds through a federal grant and also HCT's own fundraising that's going to complete the construction of that boardwalk by the eco restoration contractor Sunco, which we've hired.
So clearly, what you're looking for from the commission is support for the $250,000 for the parking.
That's correct. This is really the gateway to
Is that
the larger
200 or
site.
250?
250 for your consideration.
250, 28 parking areas, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, let me go around the table. Leah?
I just have a couple quick questions. If, say, hypothetically, we say, yep, we support this, goes through CPC, it's approved, how confident are you that the HCTs can raise that other $250,000? Because I'd hate to see it go through approved and sit and not be able to be used.
It's a fair question. I think with the momentum that's underway, given that we've assembled all of the eco restoration construction funds and hired a contractor through after a lengthy permitting process and public works project bid procurement process, and given HFA's progress on the town's first firehouse, I think this is really the capstone of the project. It's again, we're calling it the Coldbrook Gateway project, and I feel confident that we can raise the funds, especially if that 250,000 is approved by town meeting voters, that really provides a launching point to raise the balance.
Okay, sure. And then just another question, what's your time frame if, again, hypothetically supported, approved, and then you say, okay, we got the fundraising done, what is your ideal time frame to have it completed?
I would think probably by fall 2024.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have, thank you.
Okay.
Frank?
No question, I can support it.
David?
That was a great presentation last night.
Yeah.
Really was. I have no questions.
Phyllis?
I have a bunch of
Yes.
questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I understand that the building, which I don't know what you're calling it, the fire station museum, or what's its official name?
203 Bank Street,
203.
the old Bank Street Firehouse.
Okay, and you have a variance, applying for variance for 3 apartments?
We got that last night, yes.
Okay, where's the parking for the building and the apartments?
The apartments, there are 3 apartments.
Yeah.
And the parking for that is indicated on the north side, right here.
So there's only gonna be 3 cars? And
Yeah.
what about the museum part of it?
All right,
Parking
shared
for that?
We have shared parking with,
Okay, so are you gonna be contributing to the fund for the parking, the museum?
we
part?
will work together to raise the money. We're in this together. Yes,
Okay, that's my question.
yes. And we just want to be a little careful about the term museum. It's gonna have old stuff in it, including the first motorized fire truck that town of Harwich ever bought, which has been hiding for many years down behind the new public safety facility. It's gonna be housed here. There won't be regular hours for that building to be open for folks to come in. Certainly, in good weather, we'll try and have, people there. If HCT's got a function going on in the building would be open for people to come through and see memorabilia of fire history here and lots of different places. So we don't anticipate a tremendous parking lot hit or influence from what we're doing. Now, I will clarify that just a little bit. For instance, once a year we have an annual fire association meeting, and where we prepare a dinner and vote on different things for the association. And that might be 40 cars, but that would be in the evening, probably sometime in January. If there are events that go on, HCT might have an event, an educational event in the event space down below. That might increase the parking somewhat. If we were to do, someone wanted to have their kid's birthday party there, you might have 15 or 20 cars there for that event. So on a day-to-day basis, I don't see the impact of what we're doing to impact the parking area. It's really going to be, the majority of the use will be for the walking trails.
But you're anticipating to use the parking area?
Yes, sure. Yep.
May I just have a point of information, clarification, Phyllis? So you mentioned at the outset the variance from last night. It was actually a special permit last night.
Oh, sorry.
Just letting you know.
It said variance or special permit.
Phyllis, anything else?
No, thanks.
Quick question, maybe you can answer. The rentals for the apartments, where do they go? Where does that money go?
That money's going to be to keep the building going. We have to pay.
So it goes with the association?
Goes to the association, yeah, because we are
And that's
responsible.
to to perpetuate your.
Absolutely, and hopefully rental of the event space downstairs.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to pay for the building.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions, thoughts?
No, I was gonna ask the same question of where the money goes. So your association will be in control of renting that and
Yes.
getting the proceeds?
Yes,
So that could be substantial, 3 rentals, right?
we're hoping.
Hopefully to-
We just got
And
the
it'll
bill for
cost
the
that-
insurance.
And it'll cost that much to maintain the building, you're saying?
You know who I'm gonna actually reach out to, and I haven't done this formally, like Judy Ford, she
Yeah.
did this, the
Okay.
Methodist Church. What did they anticipate, and then what are their actuals? We don't really know yet. We'd like to, I would like to, speaking for myself, on the front half, it's historic. This is historic, but back here, and those are some nice roofs for solar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna look into that. And we've gotta pay for this building.
Understood.
David?
I can't wait to see the presentation of the Board of Selectmen.
And then another question, who's gonna maintain?
Hold on,
the
do you want to respond to that, no?
We kind of already have a bit of a presentation with it, because we had to negotiate with the board on the price of the building and what we're gonna do. They've been briefed a little bit on what's going on. You know, we're doing a Channel 8 presentation every couple of weeks. Richard Waystack's helping us with some social media. So we did for last night's planning board meeting have a letter of support from the board as well.
I heard that, yeah.
Phyllis?
Thank you.
And not that it happens often, but sometimes in the winter it snows or there's maintenance required. Who's responsible for
We are.
that? For the whole area?
Yes. Well,
It'll be a shared
Together.
we'd share,
responsibility,
yeah. If you're walking the trails, I think you can walk a little slower.
Well, I broke my wrist doing that, so I'm really careful now.
Either Norm or
We've got
Mike,
connections to people that can help you with that too.
Yeah.
Norm or Mike, either one, what committees or commissions right now are supporting you? Health Selectmen supporting this, Planning Board is supporting it, correct?
Well, the planning board approved the special permits.
But they're sending a letter of support for it, the Planning Board?
I did not ask the planning board last night for a letter of support for this.
So something that would,
Yeah, that would be.
It's like a prerequisite for it, yeah.
And any other selectmen that are gonna support, do you think they'll support this project?
Selectmen support
The concept.
the entire concept.
Just point of clarification, I have not sought a letter of support
Okay.
for a CPA recreation fund application from the select board. I wanted to start here.
Okay, so what you're looking for is a support of the members of the commission for $250,000 with a CPC, for a CPC.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to support the project.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's a vote.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a lot of information to take in at once.
so, okay. Are you
I'm
voting?
borderline. I can see the benefits
You have to
of
make a
supporting
decision.
it. Oh, I
You
have to
vo-
say
are you
yes, well,
voting
then I'll
for or
vote
you can
yes.
abstain?
Or
You can abstain or
Yeah,
vote
no,
present,
I'll
or,
vote for it.
okay,
Okay.
all right. It was unanimous.
Thank
Good
you all
luck.
very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank
Wish
you.
you well.
We'll work with you on the letter.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely, I'll
Thank
get you a letter. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you all
Good
very
luck.
much.
Can't
You're
wait to
welcome.
see it.
Thank you.
See you.
Yeah, thanks. All right.
Looking forward to
Good
walking it.
presentation. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for the time.
All right, very good, thank you. Correspondence, we have none, right?
Nope.
Eric?
Nope.
Old business. CPC project requests.
Want me to go through these?
Yes, sir.
All right, so, what we got first off is senior memorial fencing. Working all the numbers, the request for that would be, as we thought, $105,000. That's with contingencies, you know, the max, I'm thinking it'll come in under that, but we don't wanna go too low, I'd
No,
rather
you
go too
wanna-
high.
Absolutely.
Before you go on, Eric,
yep, sure.
I just hope that the number that you're putting out there, that 105,000,
Mm-hmm.
is not gonna get us into any kind of difficulty we had with Brooks.
Oh, no,
With the
this is-
fencing, you know, that
Yeah.
was, that to me, personally, that I thought that was not well done.
Well, Brooks, the issue with Brooks was the writing of the RFP itself.
Somehow, we need to have some oversight in terms of when those RFPs are developed, how could we get somebody to take a look at that RFP before it's sent
Well,
out?
What she's been doing, what administration's writing up the RFPs, since then, they've been sending them to me, who I then send them to Highway and all of you usually too. So there's a lot of sets of eyes on
I
it.
want some checks and balances.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
again, I
Yep.
just feel that the Brooks Park fencing, I mean, I can't understand why the contractor, you know, on the third base side didn't, where the tree fell on that piece of
Yeah,
post,
yep.
why they wouldn't put a larger
Yep.
piece of
Yep.
post up there to repair that thing the correct way. I mean, I just think, and the backstop issue as well.
Yeah,
I think there were two things that I think the contractor really did not
yep,
do well enough during that whole
yeah,
process.
so
And
that's why
we
I
have
think
to be careful.
administration's sending them out to
Good.
everybody they could possibly
Good.
think of now.
Right.
I'd like to see
Makes
new
sense.
eyes on that, and if
Yep.
anybody on the commission would like to sit with Eric and go over that, another set of eyes, I would appreciate you doing that. Because we want to make sure that RFP that goes out is what we believe is the essential parts of that whole project. Okay, thank you, go ahead.
The second one was the beach AEDs, so I put together the numbers for 15 lifeguard stands, so that would cover every lifeguard stand that we have in town, at $22.40 a piece.
What was the acronym again? I'm sorry.
AED.
AED.
Leasing is a more expensive option. It's not gonna work for the town. I did look into it. But this, it would be 15 AEDs, 33,600 through Boundtree Medical, which is recommended by the fire department. Hopefully, we can get some deals when the time comes, but again, we try to shoot high. With the contingency that we add on, it's a request of about 39,000. The way these would work is we would keep them in our office here in the summer, and send them out every day with our lifeguards, and then they come back every day. Same thing we do with like our shark bite kits, we do now. So it works out really well, it's easy. And then in the winter, we'll house them here, and they could be used for different events too, if we needed them. So I think that'd be a good one.
Just a question.
Sure.
These AEDs.
Yep.
Who is maintaining them? And the batteries, we have a battery issue with them, and who's maintaining them, and do we have to upgrade them every so often? Tell us more about what the whole process is, because I know, just to share with you, the league is buying, they're renting, they're gonna rent out 4, costing them $17,000. The other thing is, what about training? We have people trained in terms of the use of,
Staff.
Yeah, so the staff we have in the summer is already trained on AEDs.
Okay.
So they will continue to be. That's our normal training for CPR.
and they're also
AED.
CPR trained as well?
CPR, first aid, AED, and stop the bleed.
Okay.
Is their normal training. As far as maintenance goes, there's not, my understanding through talking to Dave LeBlanc and a couple people from the fire department, there's not a ton of maintenance on these. Any maintenance that needs to be done, the fire department could help us out with. Once you get to the point where they're really in trouble, it's almost time to just buy a new one by that point. It's not so much maintaining them.
Yeah, we've had ours for several years now,
Yeah,
quite a few years.
they're simple machines, so there's not a lot of technical difficulties with them.
No.
And I also have a letter, or not a letter yet, but Dave LeBlanc did confirm that he supports the concept, and he will give us a letter if we choose to go forward with it.
Great. I saw something about the state, someone submitted legislation that every athletic field is supposed to have an AED. It's just submitted in the committee. And then there might be state money that would go along with that if it ever got passed.
There was a big article in the Times, Cape Cod Times, last Sunday, I believe it was, about AEDs and about grant money, and that they're going so fast that there's a backlog in terms of being able to get these AEDs.
Yeah, there's a lot on TV.
And there are grant monies out there, so maybe we should look into.
Keep looking, especially because if you look into field, it's more going to be not so much the AED, but where do you house it at the facility? Right. You know what I mean? Because the lifeguards could take them there and bring them back, but when you get to the field, but I think that's the direction it's going to go, though. So it's something to keep an eye on.
Every school in the Monterey District has one for each individual field. They have each coach bring one out. We could offer them here, so say we have a soccer clinic or we have something, okay, the coach should be certified in it. If you can show your certification, you can bring this out to the field and bring it back. It's usable. It's usable to have. It's a good option to have here.
David,
is the state providing money for that?
For the schools?
Yeah.
So there's probably, that's how schools work. So schools don't pull anything out of pocket. It's all federally or state funded.
Which isn't necessarily a grant.
Right, well, that's not a grant, that's
when you say
funding.
State legislation, they can mandate anything, but they're unfunded. That's why I asked that question.
Right, so the schools are using their school funding, they're using their funding.
Is there a possibility
for us
that the recreation department could piggyback
not on the school.
Down the line, you mean, with the fields? I don't know.
Just a thought.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's something to look into.
Something to look into.
for sure. But with it being something we're looking to purchase, with it being a backlog order, I feel like we should take that number and run with it.
Yeah.
And try to place the orders, you know,
And
see
then if we turn
get
back
approved.
money, we turn back money. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. And if
Okay,
there's a
so-
grant that can prorate,
Yeah, yeah.
Just,
exactly.
another point, if I may, now, we're talking about CPC for, putting an application this year.
Yep,
These will not go into effect until next year, 2024, after town meeting is gonna approve this,
Yep.
obviously. In the meantime, what do we do with situation that we have around here that might need a AED?
well, there's nothing that's requiring us to
Right.
do this.
Yeah.
So we're not mandated
But
to
we
do it.
we have availability to them should there be some problems with a recreational program to be able to deal with that problem.
The only one, well, we have them in the town buildings.
Yeah.
So they're here, so if we
Okay.
have a rec program going on in the gym, we have one here.
Okay.
Brooks Park does have one right
Yeah,
now.
shed, pickleball area.
You have one, Frank?
Yeah,
yeah.
they do.
Okay.
But the fields don't all have one.
Okay.
The beaches,
It would be 911, Eric.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically what we do
Yeah.
now. I mean, it's,
911.
yeah. And then if it does, if you guys suggest it and then it gets past the town meeting and then we get the money July 1st, we could purchase them right away. And if we get them in 2 weeks, we could start right off the bat. There's really nothing, they'll be ready to roll.
Okay.
So that's that. So the third one that I have on here so far is one that just came up from Brian Albee from Highway Department. He told us that the fields out back, I'm going to actually read this because I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to that. Actually, I don't have that one, but it's for the electrical system out back, which controls the irrigation. He says that if it needs to be fixed soon, or else those fields will burn up on us. So he wants the electrical fixed. He did get us a quote from Weed and Feed Incorporated. It's to direct bury digital control wire, connect the sprinklers, purchase and install new mount controller, purchase and install station decoders, and purchase and install one wireless rain sensor. So it's all the electrical work. The current electrical system is at the end of its useful life, according to the Highway Department, and he sees this as a necessary. The quote was for $31,605. You add in the contingency fees, you're looking at a request of about $37,000 for that one. This one it did come out kind of quick, but it does seem necessary according to Highway Department. So yeah, 37K would be the request.
So these are your three priorities right now.
Those are my three priorities, and then the other ones we talked about, I don't want to neglect anything. So the ropes course, I never heard a thing back from administration, so that's kind of on the back burner for now. Splash pad, I did send out the thing from Yarmouth. I have a contact into Mashpee right now. I actually, like I said in the email, I do like the idea. Like, I'm not against the idea of a splash pad at all. I just don't know if, like, right now, judging by how much money is available through CPC as well, if this year is the year to do it. I'd like more time to check some towns off Cape as well, because the only ones I know of here are Mashpee and Yarmouth, unless I'm missing one.
no, but there's one in Wareham.
Where? Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah.
It's off, you're right, it's off Cape, but.
So that's definitely something I want to keep in the the queue.
David, why don't you respond to the funding source about the splash pad?
Well, as far as the splash pad's concerned, the document Eric got from town meeting gives you a breakdown of what the town of Yarmouth voted. But they were intertwined with a playground.
Right.
And the
It's not as
hard
bad as it
number,
looks.
the hard number for the hardware for the splash pad alone was $69,000. I'm in contact with the engineer from the town of Yarmouth and DPW. They're gonna give me they're gonna try to give me as close as a breakdown as they can, specifically for the splash pad itself. But based on Eric's observation, what he's seen and what he's feeling about the rec programs, I think he's absolutely right. This would be a priority for next year, not this year. There's just too many things that the CPC is gonna wind up dealing with, and I'll go into some of that later,
Okay.
so.
And we have a fourth one from O'Leary, the quote I got.
Yeah, I was
Did
gonna
I
get
give you a
that.
copy of that?
You just did,
Okay. Yeah, if you,
somewhere here.
I actually got two quotes from the guy, and, the fenced-in area, it's, 17,250 for grading, lobing, and hydro seeding. If you look on the next page, the irrigation is 4,500, so if you add those two together, that, taking care of that area comes to 21,750. And the other quote is actually from the end of the fenced area to the end of where the bathroom is.
That's, you're going off this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you add the figure, 17,250 from page one to 4,500, you come up with, 21,750.
Plus
And then,
contingency.
yeah, I always do 15% contingency, so you're looking at, closer to 25,000
Yeah.
for that request.
And, yeah, under 25, you don't have to put out an RFP. And they may have changed that to 30, I'm not sure.
So if that's the fourth one,
Yes,
Well, yeah, technically there's 5 on the list,
Right.
you know,
yeah.
So this doesn't include trees or,
this is just for the
Just the-
irrigation.
Yeah.
so we need to vote on these tonight, Eric. is
Well,
that-
basically, I just need to know which ones we wanna move forward with.
Okay.
And what I would do is by because these are due October 2nd. If you guys say I want this, and this, by our September meeting, I'll have all the applications done.
Yep.
Hand out to you guys if there's any things we wanna tinker with last minute.
I'm gonna suggest that we go down each one separately and take a vote on each one, if you don't mind.
Whether we want it or not, or
Yeah.
whether you wanna
Yeah.
go forward or not.
Okay, the first one I got is the fence for 107,000. This is the one at Memorial Field,
105.
105.
Yeah, we voted last meeting on it.
Well, that was to put them in order.
Yeah.
This is to
Yeah.
go forward
So
or not.
this is to actually approve what's going forward for CPC. So,
So each one would have a motion.
yes, I need a motion for the 105, please.
I'd make a motion for the fencing
Yes.
I
at
second it.
105,000.
Second,
All those, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It's a vote. Number 2 would be the AED for 39, I'm sorry, 39,000. Need a motion, please.
motion.
Motion made by
Second.
Leah, second. Any further discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor?
aye,
All those opposed? It's a vote. Third one is the electrical work in back here that Brian has requested for 37,000.
So I
I
have a
would-
question.
I'd make a motion.
And then discussion. Got
Okay.
it.
Okay, you got a motion? Is there a second?
Second,
Okay, now for discussion, please.
There we go.
So they're asking for 37,000. We won't get that money till July 1st. If
Yep.
it's approved, we won't
Yep.
get it. What's his,
Well, I was gonna talk to him again. He's gonna get more quotes too, but, he knows, he's been through a lot of these projects
Yeah,
with us, so he knows the time span. So I'm assuming we're good for one more season. I will double check with him on that, cause
yeah.
obviously we don't want it to burn out.
That's
Well,
a
that's
good
what I,
point.
In the
well, that's, yeah, that's what I mean. Is
You
this
know,
something that needs to be addressed
If
somewhere
he's
else?
suggesting that it's an emergency, it's not an emergency situation right now.
Right, exactly.
He
'cause
did say, the one thing he did tell me though, is that once the money is approved, like if we have the money in our hands, it's not a long project to do. So
Right.
if we got it, say July 1st,
Yeah, he could.
you know,
have
we had
done-
to shut down for a
Yeah.
week, you know.
I guess my concern is, okay, we do it, we approve it, but it's by the time we
Will it
get
be too
to
late?
it, right,
Yeah.
and then it's gonna cost some more, we have to
Yep.
receive, we have to do this,
Then
we
we're
have to do
gonna ask
that.
for an
Middle of the
emergency
season.
fund transfer,
Well,
Well, I hope
okay,
not.
because they're
That's-
not gonna let $800,000 worth of field.
well, that's my question,
Dissolve.
right, is it something that he feels needs to be done before we'll even get through this CPC process,
And I'll ask
or
him.
in the
Yeah, okay.
spring?
Yep.
Because if that's the case, I'd rather not push through
that.
and use the CPC money for it if there's if he's gonna say, hey, we need to get it done this spring before the
And
heat
what,
sets in.
what we could always do, Van, is on any of these, I could still write up an application
Right.
for it.
Get some
And we could
answers
table
first.
it, table the actual vote till the September meeting.
Sure.
By then I'll have more answers,
Placeholder.
and then we'll
Yeah.
have the application right
We'll
there.
do
in
that.
front of you.
Exactly, yeah,
Okay.
that's my biggest concern.
Is that agreeable with all?
Yeah.
Why don't we do that? We'll just put that
Yeah.
on hold until we
table.
get some further answers,
Table.
and then in September, we'll vote on it officially.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not saying no to it, I'm
No,
just
no,
saying
that makes sense, yeah.
if we need it
Number
earlier.
Okay, number 4 was the one that Frank brought forward, for $25,000 to handle take care of the
21,750.
hydro seeding and the loaming and the grading and all that,
I make a
25,000.
motion.
Make motion by Frank,
Yes.
second please,
Second.
second by Phyllis. Further discussion.
I wanna make the board aware, this is something new that's coming to the forefront.
Well, it
I
has to,
don't, this is something new coming to the forefront for this board. So, what I wanna make you aware is, there's gonna be limited, in my opinion, there's gonna be a limited amount of money that recreation's gonna have access to through the CPC this year. There are extremely large projects coming through CPC, and there's not a lot of money that's left in the till. If, it may sound funny, but each one of the projects that are out there are ongoing. So those projects and all, in my estimates,
I.e.,
Brooks Academy.
thank you.
Yeah,
So in my estimation, those projects are gonna go
and
first. They're gonna be outstanding. So, as far as what we do with the fencing has been around for how long?
5 years at least or more.
So that to me says that's an immediate need to get that done. The defibrillators, or whatever the name of those things are, that's a no-brainer,
Yep.
in my opinion. And as far as the field is concerned, like I said, I remember the numbers because this commission built those fields. So if we let them go to seed in any way, shape, or form, and it is the end of its useful life, that's how you apply for the CPC money with those fields.
Right.
That'll be a calculation that I, as your representative, or after this, can get on the board and argue. So I'm just letting you folks know that.
Okay,
that's
Frank,
what we're-
let
that's-
Frank
but that's what we're
respond.
doing, we're prioritizing right now.
well, we did, so I was gonna say, last meeting, we did prioritize, we voted on
Yes.
a list.
Right,
So when we finished, we had put the fencing 1, the AEDs 2, we put splash pad 3, we had ropes course 4,
No,
no.
oh, I'm
that
sorry,
we laid down.
landscaping 4, and then
Yes.
ropes course.
yeah.
But we didn't, at the time, we didn't know about
We didn't
Outback.
know a couple of them.
Right, so everything bumped.
So when we do apply, we could put in 100 applications. We're gonna
And that's true.
and there's a
Right.
priority list they ask for. They ask for which priority is this, number 1, 2, 3.
So far, right, without the fourth project, we're up to $181,000.
Okay,
Without the splash pad?
no,
Without
without,
the splash
without,
pad, without Frank's project.
without the Frank's project.
So
Yep.
the landscaping's 21,750.
But
Uh,
25 with contingency.
25.
Yeah, yeah.
Can we think about putting it through and let's see where it goes?
And what we could do too, again, I could have all these applications ready in
Yeah.
September. We could say, okay, this one's gonna be 1, this one's 2, this one, we
Yeah,
could
that's
we
fine.
could
That's
re-vote.
Let's,
What the board, I'm just giving you the
Exactly.
information I have.
Let's,
up
Frank,
to
you
you
comfortable with
folks.
that, Frank?
Yes.
Okay,
fine.
let's do that, let's put that fourth, through as the fourth, and with the
Just need to
understanding.
vote on it.
Yeah, with the understanding that we'll put the applications through, and if it doesn't forego its vote at the
Yeah,
commission,
we're
then we
used to that.
understand that. So, I need a vote, all those in favor of doing that, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, it's a vote. Anything else, Eric?
Well, there's the splash pad one too.
Well, I think we agree that we're gonna put that on hold until another time.
Yeah, we have to know the dimensions and
Yeah.
where we're gonna put
Well,
it, and
location
all that
is more
stuff
of
like that.
anything.
Yeah, I would suggest we put that on hold until we we get further information on it and get some real
And I'll keep
specifics.
getting, I could get more by
Yeah.
September too.
Okay,
I
so,
think, yeah, if we
put
can
that
get
on
more
the
by
agenda.
September.
yeah, put
to-
that on the agenda
And still
for September.
consider, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. I'd like it still considered, especially since if you look at their timeline, if you look at Yarmouth's timeline,
Yep,
not even with the splash pad and the rest of the
the
pieces that
playground
they did,
and all that.
it was a 14-month project from,
Yeah, it
from
takes a while,
very
yeah,
start.
I know.
But I
That's
would
quick.
say 14 months is quick.
That's
By
still
our
quick,
standards.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you know what
right,
I mean,
you're
from
right.
them,
That's-
from their very first presentation to
Well, there's
opening
more
the gate.
information that I'll share with you, and that
is
is that
14
the
months.
splash pad, again, which sits directly behind the field, the softball field, they've approached the league, they wanna move the entire fence, okay? And they asked the league to give them a sum of money to be able to move that fence so that the balls are not going into the splash pad.
Right.
That, the highway department is working with a couple of guys in our league for that. Our league is donated $10,000 towards that project, so.
The nice thing
That's an
is,
ongoing, you know, over there, it's an ongoing thing because there is this conflict between the kids and their splash pads and that pad and the seniors with, you know, hitting the ball into the, you know, into the areas. So they're trying to configure that. I think they want to do a whole new configuration of that area. So I don't know what the timeline on that is. I have no idea. We just
Yeah.
voted to.
the nice thing is here, whether we
We
put it
don't
at
have-
Brooks
yeah.
or back here or 204 Sisson, I doubt we'll run into that problem.
Yeah, I
you know
don't,
what
any
mean?
of
Right.
our option
Right.
location is not
Any of
an
those three,
issue.
yeah.
Has,
Okay.
Mr.
Yes.
Has any of the board gone over to take a look at that splash pad?
I have, I'm
Yeah, I
there
have too.
multiple times.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It
is nice.
They
It's-
did
it
a
is nice.
beautiful job,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
And it will fit right
Perfectly.
behind our bathrooms.
right.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Everything, the utilities, the water.
Wait, which bathroom are you talking about?
Right out here.
Oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
yep, yep.
That area,
Okay.
it's perfect area for us.
I agree. I think we need a bit more further discussion about
Sure.
summer camps for, I mean, because that was the only question was, is it public use once summer camp is here? Is it-
That's, yeah.
That was the only concern we had with here, so, but it could be, because if it's over here, it's the same if you guys walk over, you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? It's used the same.
While the camp's using it. Yeah,
Um, Exactly,
yeah.
so I think.
That's easy to get, yeah.
I think that was the only concern we had about here.
Yep.
Well, I think those are
But-
some of the questions we need answers, the location of it, the timelines, the costs and so on, some of the more specifics that we need.
Sure.
So, again, if you can put all that together, Eric, and
Yep.
get some answers for us by September meeting,
Mm-hmm.
we'll put that on the agenda
And
to discuss it fully before we take any action on it.
Absolutely, and I'd be more than happy to talk with you about even a fundraising or grant
Sure.
group, because I know there's enough community
Good.
that wants it, that could do that, so even if we say,
Yep.
this
Okay.
is our total price, this is what we're looking for
This is what
CPC,
help we need,
this is what
yeah.
the help
As long
we
as you
need.
follow
It's
up
come
on
in
that.
all
Yeah.
different
You
sizes and
guys,
everything,
make
right?
Yeah,
Sure.
oh yeah,
Develop
So
a
we gotta
meeting and
decide
and
that.
work on that, okay?
Perfect.
You
So
got
if
it.
I
Okay,
have
we're-
questions, could I give them to you, Eric?
Yeah,
Could I-
absolutely, yeah.
So we're good with the CPC articles?
Yeah,
All
I'll get
set?
all those applications
Okay,
together.
good,
Yeah.
thank you.
Awesome.
Good job. All right, subcommittee, under old business, we're gonna continue with with the fee subcommittees. We need, some members to serve on us as a subcommittee. Eric is
So-
going to be running that, and I'm gonna suggest that 2 members of the commission serve on that subcommittee. Now, we have not done much with the fees over the past several years, and it's about time we come to some kind of revisions and some changes that are gonna be very meaningful for what we do here as a commission. So I think it's a big project, okay? It's gonna take a lot of time, and as I mentioned to Eric today, I hope that Brian from the highway, who has a responsibility for these fields, will be asked as a consultant to come in and give his input and get a sense of where we're going with all these fees. Because I know there were a number of questions out there about the fees, about White House and so on and so forth, so. Anybody here want to volunteer? If not, I will,
Hi, I
there you
will.
go, wonderful.
He was
Wow,
gonna, he was gonna
that's a
appoint
quick
you.
vol-
Okay,
Volunteer.
I take
Okay.
it,
All right,
keep costs down for the kids.
yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think just to add on to that, I think it's fees, and also we should look at like the general rules of the use of the fields
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, whether there's a cap or not a cap, you know,
Absolutely.
all that stuff.
Okay.
100%, yeah.
I think I kind of suggest, I
Excellent.
kind of think that it's gonna take you a couple of months to put all this together, or maybe longer.
Well, I think
Yeah.
it'll be good timing too, because with the new website and everything, this way we can have it you know, if we have a new fee structure, rules, everything, put it right on there.
Well, I would suggest that you do a
Absolutely.
very comprehensive, take your time, do a comprehensive job, make sure that it's the way we wanna go, bring it back to the commission, and we'll vote on it accordingly and come in with our own suggestions. Do a first draft perhaps.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we'll
Oh, yeah,
look
there'll
at
be
it.
probably a couple drafts.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they
And,
can,
Sure.
Yeah, we'll come back with a couple of drafts and then decide whether or not, what we wanna vote as a commission, and hopefully that's where we go with it, okay?
Eric, could you email me at some
What we have
point?
now.
Yeah, just
Yep.
the current
Yeah,
fields
that's-
and fees, and if you have, just even a general idea of the usage we're getting.
Yep, I do.
That way I can just see where we're at and
Yep.
then where we wanna go.
Okay,
there probably should be a sign in the picnic area too, there's no, I know that you'd have to put it up high so the kids wouldn't distract.
For what?
Well, that people don't know it's available for rent. I mean, like,
Oh, I see what you're
like that
saying.
bicycle group
Yeah.
that comes, they just come and take over.
Yeah.
They've been
Yeah,
lucky,
that's true.
well, they only do it in the fall and the spring, which is
Like
not getting a lot of
advertising
use
for
then
it?
anyway.
The pavilion?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a bicycle
Over by
group
the-
that comes,
No,
they'll
no,
be
yeah, I
coming
know where
after
it is.
Labor Day, I'm sure.
I mean, people have birthday parties there with decorations, I don't know if they.
And, well, some book and some
I
don't.
think
It's
Yeah.
kind of-
Are we really
They had a
renting
wedding
out,
reception
like,
there
what?
last year. There
Well,
must have
people
been
do
60
come to us
people.
and rent that
Mhm.
for like a birthday party.
Okay.
But then there's people too, like you said, that probably just show up and do it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
kind of
Yeah, I
like
guess
quick
I-
fires.
They
at
don't
the
know.
beaches,
I
yeah.
guess I wouldn't assume that one area would be like a rental space, so I think putting it out there is definitely something, cause I would just a
Yeah.
couple picnic
I think
tables.
people, if they wanna make, like, if there's a Saturday they have in mind where they wanna have this birthday party and they wanna make sure that nobody else is there,
That's when they
that's
go.
when they book it,
Mhm.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But if they're just like showing up for an impromptu get together,
Yeah.
then it's a different
because
story.
I see all the time at playgrounds, people have a birthday party there and they just grab a couple
Yeah.
picnic tables because it's free
And
and
then what I tell
easy
people
and-
too is like, if they ask about it, I'll say, well, you can go, you know, people, I can't stop people from meeting.
Right,
this,
well,
but
that's what I mean,
I
yeah.
can't guarantee it's gonna be open
Exactly,
for
exactly.
you
Yeah, but
unless you
you're
book, you know.
intimidating.
all right, we good now?
Yeah.
We're good with that one? Okay, you got
Yeah.
a task in front of you there, ladies, and
We will
hopefully we'll
meet.
get this thing done.
Right, thank
All right,
you.
new business, CPC representative, David, you ready to be appointed again?
Yes.
I make a motion, we appoint Dave Nixon as the CPC representative.
Is there a
I
second?
second.
Second? Yeah, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed to vote? Okay, keep us
Good
informed,
job,
David.
good job, Dave.
Thank you.
Potential new softball field, I don't know where that came from, but that is not,
This is
that we're
meeting one
tabling.
of you in
Yeah,
charge.
we're tabling, there's no new
Table, got it.
softball field at this time. Let's move on to member open session, okay? Couple of things I want to bring up as chair. I think in the future, the agendas that we put together each month should be emanated from you guys as well, okay? It's not only myself and Eric
Oh, yeah.
putting this together, so I'm going to give you some direction, if I may. We're going to ask that you, if you have any agenda items that you want for that meeting, for the next monthly meeting, submit your agenda items by the Monday prior to the Tuesday, a week later, the Tuesday following the agenda for the meeting. In other words, that early Monday prior to the next Tuesday meeting,
Got it.
because they need to
Week
get,
ahead.
they need to get the information together. I need to sit with them and discuss the agenda and put it together, and so that they can get it out to you in ample time for you to have it available for your own purposes, okay? So, and again, anything that you want to do in that sense would be welcome. We didn't have anything on the agenda this month for the maintenance report, the budget, and the
Elaine forgot to
director's
put it on.
report, and it was a little delayed, we didn't get to it. And I asked Eric tonight to make sure those three items are always on the agenda each month for us to be able to review. The director's report, the budget, and the maintenance report, okay? Minutes, I know that I've asked a question about minutes, where are our minutes? And Elaine, as I understand, is working, she's a little behind on it, and she's working hard to get the minutes out to us. There's a real backlog in terms of the kind of business that's been going on this summer, so she'll get there, I'm sure, and get these minutes out to you so we can at least review them and vote on them the waivers.
Where did she get them from? She had
From the
to
tape.
watch
She
the
reads
tape.
the
Watch
tape.
the tape,
Yes, yes, so that's a
Yeah, that's
tedious job.
consuming
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time to do that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
it's not unusual.
Yeah.
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 I have a couple of, final thing is the Classic is coming up, the softball Classic is coming up on the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. We got 6 days. There are right now 965 softball players coming into town with their wives and significant others and whatever. And the Chamber of Commerce in Yarmouth and Dennis and Harwich have done an outstanding job this year advertising the program, getting doggy bags, little gift bags and so on for all the members. We've got 3 food trucks. We've got tents going up for the players. We got the benches all repaired, and the highway is working on the fields to get them spruced up. And I've hired a couple of other guys that I know that are coming in and sprucing up some more, helping the highway department. So we'll be ready to go, and we're looking forward to a real big program this year. Real great event.
Right.
A couple of things on the maintenance report, Eric, that I
Sure.
want to, I just went over. Under the Bassett Field program, the $2,500 for the stone dust, for the fencing was $3,500.
3,500, okay.
And the infield, with the stone dust we put on the infield was $4,000, okay? And it has to be determined. The first time we did it was the 4,000, but then they had to go back and replace. The highway went in and it took 2.5 inches off that field and brought in the proper materials, and they picked up the tab. We were going to pay for it. We, the senior softball, was going to pay for it. They said, no, we'll pick it up this time because it was our fault that we bought the wrong stuff. So that's all done. It's in back. The guys are playing on it. They're happy. They're satisfied with the outcomes and so on and so forth. The repair of the fencing for Senior Memorial, that has not been done. We're still using some wooden planks and so on so that the balls don't go into the screen. But we're getting there until we get new fencing in there, and of course we get the other stuff going on. So I have no others. So pickleball. I was going to ask about pickleball. I was with some people in my neighborhood, and they asked me about a sign for pickleball, which indicates that the Harwich residents have first priority or something to that effect. Is there a sign to that
There
effect?
is a sign saying it's reserved from 8 to 12 every day.
Yeah,
But
other
it
than that,
doesn't
you
do
can't
much.
really.
Other than that,
Can't go any
Okay,
further
so there
than
is a
that.
sign up there.
There is
Oh,
a
yeah.
sign,
Okay, all right.
but people don't really, they either don't read it or they read it and just walk on the
And you
lines.
can't really say, like, you could say there's a program here from 8 to 12.
Yeah.
But other than that, you can't say this is prioritized for this group of people or that.
That's
If
right.
it's just open
It's open.
play. You know?
Considering the taxpayers of the town of Howard's paid for the entirety.
Yeah,
But yet we
And that
pay.
includes,
But you can't-
and that includes folks that don't live here.
Right.
Have summer homes.
yeah.
That
yeah.
spend a substantial amount of money on the school system and everything that we produce here in recreation.
And there's
Oh,
no
I
way to
know
regulate
that.
it.
It's all encompassing.
Right.
Absolutely.
But we did, in-town players paid $50 and out-of-town players paid $75.
For entertainment.
Yeah.
For how long?
How,
8 to
well,
12.
That's, we'll discuss that
And
under
out
Yeah,
the
but-
fee
of town,
structure.
they had to be grandfathered in. It
Right,
wasn't
and
just
so-
any out of town.
but yet, and on the other hand, you're saying anybody that's staying in, and I don't have anything against people coming to play. I like them to come to play, but yet,
Well, no, whoa. You don't have anything against people coming to play.
right,
People have a right to come and play in
Right.
that complex.
right.
It's not whether you like it or not.
So we don't have to pay.
Well, to be honest with
Yeah.
you, you're part of this recreation department.
Right,
We run the programs. I'm sorry, the director
Right.
runs the programs. So there's no ownership for anybody that plays pickleball out there. Whether you think you do, then we'll stop the programming. We'll let you have a private company
All right, Dave.
as within
Yeah, the way
yourself.
I don't think that's what
And-
she's looking for.
Well,
No.
I understand what she's saying. She's establishing ownership.
No,
And
no, I
listen,
don't want, that's
No,
not what I
I
want
don't
at
think
all,
that, I
that's,
don't
no.
think that, yeah. I think that she's just looking at giving the locals, an opportunity to have a little priority time in using those courts, because,
Van,
Yeah,
suggestion to you,
No, I can
as
speak for
chairman of the
myself.
CPC.
hold on,
Can I
guys,
speak for
her
myself?
speak.
hold on,
Oh, I was addressing the chairman.
Yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
As chairman of the CPC,
Mhm.
last summer, I went down to the pickleball courts because there was a lot of clamoring. And there were signs up, I don't know who put them up, reserved for pickleball only.
8 to 12.
No,
There
there was
no
no
8 to
time
12?
limit on it. In fact, I made a request of a board member here to take the signs down,
well,
I took
and
them down.
they did.
Mhm.
but they are for
So,
pickleball.
I'll leave it at that.
I mean, you can't skateboard on them. You know what I mean? Like, reserved for pickleball only.
Well,
Right,
I-
As
Yeah,
opposed to-
that's what that sign meant.
yeah, you can't rollerblade, you can't
'Cause kids go out there
scooter,
with
you
their
can't
bikes
bike,
and
you
stuff,
can't
yeah.
hang on the tennis nets like it's a gymnastic
Let me
facility.
ask this question about the pickleball courts, Frank, just for my own information. Is the gate locked? Is there a time when you lock those
Oh,
gates?
no, they're never locked.
So that people can go in there anytime they
They go in
want?
there at 10 o'clock at night.
As long as the
if they
program's
Really?
not going on. Yeah.
Okay,
They're
so
never
is there-
locked.
is
The only
there-
thing we lock is the shed, because we've got a lot of equipment
Right.
in there.
Right.
but in terms of the usage, people are free to go in there at any time and use those
Not able
courts?
Not
Well,
anytime.
8 to 12 is reserved for the
No,
membership.
I'm talking about at night, you
Oh,
say?
yeah,
Oh,
anybody.
that's
anytime
till
it-
10
The
o'clock at
lights only
night.
go on
You
until
can go in
10
there and
a.m.
play pickleball if you want.
And the lights are usually on. They're
Right,
on
and the
quite
sign,
often.
there's a sign that says from sunup, to 8 o'clock, anyone can use it, from 8 to 12, it's Harwich pickleball members, and from 12 to 10, it's open to
Open.
anybody.
But 10
With
o'clock
a
at night?
couple, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And the lights are there to use, they're on, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
go there at night
Now,
very often,
let
but,
me just for the sake of discussion, okay, so it's a learning process. If somebody goes in there at 10 o'clock at night, they have free access to that facility, correct?
Yeah, the
They're
lights
playing in
go
the
off
dark,
at
though.
10.
yeah,
I mean,
the
that's-
lights
So-
are, yeah.
They don't wanna play in the
There are
dark.
also lights for the tennis court and the basketball court.
Yeah.
Playground.
And playground,
Yeah.
and parking lot.
So people are then using those facilities at their own discretion
Sure are.
beyond the
I've been
time,
up there on a Sunday,
Oh, yeah.
all 8 courts are going, I
Yeah.
don't recognize
and
one
we
person.
don't get any revenue from that at all.
Or
No,
the
it's-
tennis courts.
No.
And
It's
some
kind of like a baseball field when it's not booked. If
Yeah.
a dad and his kids want to go out and hit the ball around,
Right.
they just do.
Yeah, we got a lot of tourists, for us.
Okay,
Even when it's
Learning.
sunny, even when the
Thank
sun's
you.
out.
Right.
appreciate it. Anything else?
Uh,
Let me go around to Aaliyah, you wanna start, please?
I just have one question
Sure.
for Eric. What are our after-school numbers looking like?
That's what I was gonna. So after school is full,
Awesome.
which is great. We're working on flag football, travel league soccer, K1-2 soccer. I know I touched base with you about field hockey and
Did you hear
reached
from
out.
the Carries?
Not yet.
Okay.
Oh, the Carries? Is that who?
Anna for Anna Carey.
Oh, I know Anna Carey.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I haven't
so-
heard from them, but yeah, I know who you're talking
Okay,
about.
because I reached out to her and
Oh,
they
okay.
both said absolutely, because
Oh,
she's not,
good,
she's not,
okay.
doing it this year, so she has the afternoons open. And
Okay.
I thought it would be a perfect opportunity for her.
Okay.
So if you want to just reach
So
out.
yeah, so that's another one, field hockey, and we have a basketball program that's gonna happen. The problem we're having right now is staffing. So if anybody knows anybody that wants to work, we're looking for people, big time. We've tapped into our summer staff, we usually get people from that, the people, the kids that are sticking around. So we've got a couple there. Our two guys, the two twins that worked for us all year, they are gonna be much more limited this year. They're trying to grow up and go out in the world and do their thing. So we're still looking for people for that. We've put it on, we've advertised it. I know the principal over at the tech, he's sending out a blast. The schools are sending out a blast, the high school.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say,
So
'cause
we're getting it out there, but the more we can get it out, the better.
those volunteer hours, those seniors scrambled there last year. So,
Yeah, I know.
mean,
So
and they
we'll
need-
take that, The only problem we've taken volunteers a lot in the past, they're just not as reliable all the time
Yeah.
as a paid person,
Right.
but I'll still take them.
Yeah, because I think it's like 40, so that's, if you do 10, you know,
It used to be a lot
sessions.
more too.
Yeah,
They
I
used to
think
have
it's-
something where they needed even more,
Yeah.
but they cut it back or
Right,
something.
so I believe it, and I might be a little bit off, but I believe it's around 40, so if they
Yeah.
have, if you're like, hey, we have 10
Yep.
Saturdays,
Yep,
you know,
yeah.
whatever, so,
Because we'll have, you know, soccer clinics, open gyms, flag football, stuff like that, and the after-school program.
right,
The
exactly.
more the merrier, so.
Do we have currently enough, I know you said we're fully booked for after school, do we have enough staff for the
We'll be able to
after-school
run it,
program?
yeah, so
Okay,
as of
perfect.
right now, if nothing changed, and we weren't able to find anybody else, Sue, Phyllis would be, you know, which they help anyway with after school, but they'd really be taking over. And we have a couple other kids, I'd be helping out.
Okay.
I'd probably be working a 6th day until we find somebody on Saturdays, which I've done before, it's not a big deal, you know, to do the soccer clinics and things like that. But we're gonna keep looking. I got a guy came in the other day, he works at Chatham Bars Inn for their recreation.
Yep.
And he wants to see how town recreations work, and I said, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I
It's a
said,
lot
yeah.
different.
He's like, well, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I said, not anymore, you're not. I said, you're working too. So I think he's gonna come in, so that's
Yeah,
some
so
cover,
it'll be
so.
a culture shock from CPI.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Leah, anything else?
No,
Yeah,
that was it, that was my only question.
thank you. Frank?
Yes, Eric, did Paul Sweetser give us enough prints for Megan?
He hasn't, well, he sent over the electronic one, the
Yeah.
newest, he's talking about the Brooks Park
Park,
expansion
right,
project.
Right.
We were waiting on a final update on the plans, which he emailed to me. I emailed it to Megan, you saw it.
Yeah. So it
He
looks
hasn't
okay.
brought the actual physical print in yet. He said it's coming.
Frank, can I
We're
ask a
gonna
question
need-
on that?
What's that?
When I was reading that, are we changing any kinds of the specs or anything else? What are
No,
they-
it was
why
just
are
things they left out.
Well, it's, the way it started out, they weren't very good, Van. What he gave us back was what we have now.
Okay.
What we
You know,
wanted, yeah.
He cut and pasted.
Have you looked at them?
Yeah, several times, and I guess we got the final
It's
one
like the
now.
third draft, yeah.
That's, and it looks okay.
Yeah.
He's gotta get those prints quickly because,
Megan has it now, and as of today, the invitation for bids was posted.
When is that going out?
I don't know yet, I have to check it literally just went out.
Okay.
So the opening will
went out.
probably be in 2 weeks, it's usually a 2-week posting.
that's for the pickleball courts and the
Basketball court.
basketball, okay. And on the resurfacing.
Yep.
Someone asked to take pictures.
So that
That
one's,
was-
the bid opening for that one is the 14th of
14th,
September. So that's already out. But somebody asked for pictures of the cracks on the court, one of the companies that may want to bid on it.
Yeah.
So I did take some pictures and sent them
And
to
tell them to
Megan.
come and look at it, yeah. you
Yeah,
can't
and
tell.
they're gonna come look at it anyway. And then we also Megan got a request, remember the one I sent you? Somebody asked if it would be acceptable for these other products that they may use. So I sent it out to
Yeah.
you and, somebody from Highway to look at too.
Yeah.
So that one's
That's
in the
fine.
works. And
Frank,
si-
what you've seen, what you've read, you feel comfortable with?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the final one, yeah, it took a
Okay.
while,
Yep,
like a month or something.
which
but-
one, the resurfacing or the Brooks?
The courts, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then the Sand Pond the opening for that is the 1st of September. So we have 3 out there.
We're
right
getting
now.
there.
Yeah.
Slowly
Lot
but
of work.
surely
Now,
we're getting there.
All alerts,
Yeah,
They're all
hallelujah.
happening at one time.
Yeah, right.
Better than nothing. though.
East Coast,
Better
East
than
Coast
nothing.
seal coating, all
Yeah.
alerts.
I heard someone was measuring the courts, someone told
That's
me
probably
that-
one of
They need a
Yeah.
wheel, there's over
Yeah.
1,000 feet.
Yeah, well, somebody was measuring.
It's probably one of the resurfacing.
You good, Frank? You have anything else you want to bring up?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
I saw a lifeguard stand the other day, I was at Falmouth,
Yep,
Yacht Club. I was gonna take a photograph and I got involved in something else, so I forgot. This was the neatest lifeguard stand I've ever seen.
did it have storage?
In the back,
Yeah.
you know, it was all boarded up.
Yep.
It had a door, and I noticed they were storing all this stuff right there
Yep,
in the lifeguard stand. And in the top where, you know, the kids sit, there's a chair, it's like a cabana then. You know, just 2 metal poles, and you bring it out, and then they're all shielded from the sun.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, when we got the newsstands, I looked into all different kinds, and I did find, like, the public opinion was people like the look of the aesthetic of the wooden
Standard.
Oh,
stand,
yeah.
as long as as long as it's still functional for what we need it for. People like the vista of the beach and that wooden stand, But I have seen those which are nice with the storage, they put the
Storage
rescue
right in the
boards
back,
there.
I mentioned that to Eric the other day, I was down there, Red River with myself, and I noticed that some of the pressure treated wood is really getting, sea stained, if you will, it's getting a
Oh,
little
yeah.
shed.
Those are
I'm
pretty
wondering
good.
if we could stain those. You know,
Pressure treated?
Well, they are pressure treated already.
you know,
That's,
if we
that's-
stain them like a red and a white or
that's
something,
a
which are the
tough one.
colors of, emergency colors and so on, so people can, you know, what do you think of that as a project? that
I can
somebody
see staining it,
Yeah,
if you like further treat them.
yeah,
I think if you painted them, especially like a red, I think you'd get a lot of complaints.
Staining, you'd have to
Aesthetically.
use an oil-based
Yeah.
stain, really, you have to go to
Yeah.
Connecticut or
I could,
Rhode
I'll
Island
check
and
with
buy this
Highway
stuff.
and see if they recommend.
You're not buying it in
anything.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
okay, Frank, anything else, please?
That's it,
Okay,
Dan.
David, please.
I'm sure.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, through you to Eric. Eric, is there any way, we just went through the RFP, so I got that part of it. Is there any way next season that we could take court 4 and turn that into a temporary pickleball court?
What?
Why?
Court 4?
I spent a lot of time up at Brooks Park this summer.
Yeah,
There were times when the courts got incredible use, but for the most part, there was only a couple of couples at different
for
points in time.
tennis.
And I'm looking at what pickleball is developing and where it's going in general. In the initial stages of tennis, I was hardcore.
Yeah,
I was around long enough that when the director here messed up the numbers, when we were building those courts over there.
I remember.
Okay, so I have to say anymore.
wasn't
But
it?
that time, tennis has changed.
Sounds like you were
There's
snotty
not
before.
that demand anymore. There's more demand for pickleball.
It's true.
So, at least until the new courts get built, and we don't know when that's gonna happen, is there a possibility that we could take that 4th court, turn it into a temporary pickleball court, and then you have access to your program, you have access to the general public using it?
Yeah.
Just
mean,
a,
it's definitely-
just a thought for the
So
board.
You
my
know,
only
that was painted. We had 3 courts painted, you know, at one time.
Right.
But when we resealed,
Right.
whenever we resealed, we just painted over. And I'm wishing maybe we
That's
did.
right.
My
Yeah,
only
painted.
comment, I
It's,
don't,
again, it's just thinking out of the box.
yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea. My only question would be, can I send Sue to you? When that happens?
We're gonna get 4 more courts.
Yeah,
Well,
No, yeah, they're
again,
coming.
it's
A
just a
stopgap,
temporary,
it's a
yes,
stopgap.
that's all, because there is a tremendous use of those pickleball
We
courts.
gotta get you out there, Dave.
yeah.
Now with these replacement needs.
Oh, lots of people have.
But it's definitely something
replacement
to
needs.
consider.
everything.
How many folks do you have in pickleball right now?
Signed up over 300.
Oh, yeah,
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 it's like
well,
317 or something
Yeah.
like that, but
Yeah.
people still are signing up, which seems.
Obviously, if
crazy.
you,
I
the
know.
question
I
is,
know, right? Yeah.
if you had more pickleball courts, you'd be getting more people, obviously.
Well, we would be
In other words, you
getting,
haven't reached your
Well, some
limit.
people play 8 o'clock to 9, you know, they're gonna go home.
yeah, like I like to go at
Ralph said,
7 and go to say till 10:30 or so, and then there are people who show up at 10. So it's not,
Yeah.
everyone isn't there at once.
You haven't reached your maximum numbers of
Oh,
potential.
some days,
Yeah.
some days
4th of
it's.
July.
And those new
Oh,
courts,
yeah.
the new
The
courts
new
will
course
help
will
that.
help a lot,
Oh, yeah.
and, you know, there's maybe ways to have it, so there's some that could be for the public.
Organize it, yeah,
or-
yeah.
Eric, is there,
and-
is there any value to what he has to say?
Yeah, I
to-
think it's something to consider, like next year, once we get into the signups again for the spring, because we won't have the new courts yet. We can see, you know,
And
Something-
people do go over there when the courts are full,
yeah, they,
and actually use the tennis
and they just
nets.
play
Yeah,
over
they
the
just
tennis
hit-
net.
Oh, I've seen that
Yeah.
too.
But they don't
Almost
have
like a practice
lines.
court.
Why don't we,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just use
why
it
don't
as
we
practice.
Yeah.
put that out there, and remember
Yeah.
what we need to do and think about it for next year, okay? Very good, thank you,
Thank you.
David. Anything else, Dave?
Also,
Phyllis?
Oh, so back on the tennis, there used to be tennis classes for kids that I thought
In
were through
the-
the rec department.
We had them in the summer.
Yeah.
This year we didn't have an
Yeah,
instructor.
So maybe you'll have them again, too.
Hopefully, that's what we're hoping.
Yeah, we didn't have
The
them
high
last year
school
either.
uses
It's
them a
an
lot, too.
instructor
Oh, the high
problem.
school
Right.
uses them a ton. That's the
Yeah.
only thing.
They
Is-
need the courts. when they have
Yeah,
games.
so if they
well,
were,
that's why I'm saying
yeah,
Yeah.
temporary courts where you could put up
take the net
whatever,
off. And all, yeah.
Right,
whatever they are.
We have temporary nets that you could put
Yeah.
up,
There
but
you
you
go.
need
Yep.
lines, you need the lines
Yeah, you
built
would
in.
need tape lines or something like
But
that.
the gym class comes over too, you know, the gym classes come over and play pickleball.
Yeah, yep.
Okay,
From the high school.
I think we got the gist of what we need to do.
Yeah.
Phyllis, anything else that you wanna bring
No,
up?
I just was wondering if they're
Okay.
gonna restart the tennis program.
One of the things I wanna talk to
Hopefully.
the board about, or the commission about, is, maybe in September, October, when things settle down somewhat, I'd like to see if we can put on the agenda the scheduling of all of our facilities. The way and the manner in which we schedule the fields and, the parks and so on and so forth. There were some controversies that existed this past year, particularly out and back here. And,
I think that'll fall under our subcommittee too.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
'cause
we
it's
gotta
gonna
talk
be
about
online
that, because
now.
I think that we inadvertently scheduled some programs, some activities, some events, one right after another. It didn't give the highway department the opportunity to do anything out there, and it just created some issues that we should try to avoid. I know we had, the hookers ball out there for a while,
Yeah.
and we had
Rugby
rugby
tournament.
tournament, yeah.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
over.
They're great, but there's gotta be some other, I look at Brooks Park, and during the summer months, there's nobody down there. Nobody's using the baseball field, I'm talking
Oh,
about,
they
the
do.
baseball,
the
they do.
baseball
There
field.
was some function
Once in
there
a
the
while,
other
you'll
day
see
where-
some kids out there banging a couple of balls, but I'm
Well,
saying,
We have
there is no
lowercase-
organized program during the summer months down there,
Yeah,
correct?
no, there is.
There is.
Yeah,
Lowercase
Well,
senior
I was
Babe
gonna
Ruth.
say,
is
I'm
there.
there,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, beyond
I see
Babe Ruth,
all the time.
what's available?
There's lowercase senior Babe Ruth, and then there's the AAU teams that were
Okay.
there for the summer.
Okay,
Yeah,
but there's a block of time where.
Oh, it's definitely
yeah,
times when it's open.
okay. Well, I'm looking at that block of time, and so, thinking that maybe we might be able to put some of the events that we're put out back here down at Brooks, for the kids to use down there
Yeah,
as well.
and I think back here though, part of the reason we built it was as a multi-purpose field
Right, I
facility.
understand.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's number one. So
Thank
if
you.
somebody comes to me and says, I wanna have like this, like the hookers wall,
Yeah,
my first recommendation would be back there.
Right,
Yeah.
absolutely.
If that's booked, then we can start looking around, as backup plans.
Right.
McPhee Field is another place, but that's kind of.
but I'm just
setback.
thinking, we have to look at
Everything
the,
but White House.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
yeah,
yeah,
no, definitely not.
that's
Hey,
Fenway
someone's
South.
gonna pay for those bleachers.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, no.
All right,
There it
anything
is.
else? Motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Second, so moved.
is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you
Thank you.
for
Always can stay.
helping me with my first meeting.
Nice keys.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
you made it through,
Can you
good
put
job.
the, thing, please? The GV?
Oh, yeah, good
Thank
idea.
you.
I would've forgot. We would've skipped right over it.
Thank you, guys, ladies,
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Good job, Van.
Thank you.
You made it.
I made it.
Yeah, you're
Good
back,
job,
you're-
great
you're
job.
back in the,
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the wheelhouse. I was careful on that one.
Thanks for your help, everyone, appreciate it.
Yep.